Listen, and you will hear stories of beauty, strength, and inspiration. Let's talk Womentalk. Rachel Chung was a victim of domestic violence. For 8 years, she suffered through psychological and physical trauma inflicted on her by her ex-husband. But now, Rachel is a fighter, fighting to change social attitudes towards violence and helps women overcome domestic abuse. What makes a victim turn heroine?
Can I just ask, when did the abuse start? How early in the marriage was it?
It started right in the first year of the marriage. I was already pregnant then, so I was very trapped, there wasn't anything much I could do.
Did you see this coming from him?
Definitely not, because during our courtship days, he was very charming, he always went out of his way to accommodate me,
How did you react, when it first started?
I was very shocked. The first few times, I actually tried to make excuses for him. I went into self-denial, I was thinking this is not really who he is, he was just going through a very bad period of time in his life, he's lost his job and, things are happening and, I told myself, maybe, he's just feeling the stress of being a first-time father, keep trying to make excuses for him because I always thought that's not who he is.
Do you love him even after he hit you?
I think it's worse when there is love, because you will then feel that the betrayal is even sharper, is even more painful.
Do you try to talk to him about it?
Yeah, numerous times, he will say things like, I'm sorry, it won't happen again. If you love me, if you're my wife, you'll support me, you will forgive me, we'll work through this together. He says all the right things, And then there are other times where he will put the blame on me. If you are a good wife, then, we won't be going through this now. Do you see this happening to our friends and all that? So you should be looking at yourself in the mirror and wonder, and ask yourself, what did you do wrong?
And do you believe him?
To a certain extent, I did. I did question myself, is it me? Is it because I'm too assertive? Is it because I'm too opinionated? It made me have self-doubt.
And how long did this go on for? I mean, I can imagine it being so painful right from the start, and like you said, you doubted yourself, but how long did this go on for, and what do you think that did to you?
It really put a strain, on the marriage, and it put a strain on the kind of happiness, that, it's a firstborn child, you should typically be very happy, it should be a very beautiful memory, but, all these things going on, it actually tainted the memories. But I would also say that, the arrival of my firstborn actually gave me a lot of strength. It made me examine myself, because I had all those self-doubt and all that, right? It made me reach deep into myself and question myself. And then I came to the conclusion that, no, I don't think it's me. Because I don't think any woman should be made to question, or even be told to change her belief system, her values, what she stands for, or to be told to just shut up and listen to your husband. I don't think that's right.
When was it the time when you decided after your first child was born that you had to do something about it?
I think primarily it was also because she's a girl. When I think about when my girl grows up, is she going to go through that too? Is she going to look at me and, okay, mom is like that and therefore I should be like that too? And that is so repulsive to me and it's so vile to me that, at that very moment when I thought of it, it sort of like was a wake-up call. When I left, my kids were only 8 and 3. Subsequently, in later years, I did broach the issue, and they wonder if they should feel angry with him. They wonder if it's okay, that they feel feelings of like anger, hatred, all these underlying issues. We really talk about it very openly.
And how do you think that has helped you to deal with this problem?
It helped me in terms of healing. When I tell them, this is something that happened between us, the adults and all that, it's easy, it's logical to say things like, you shouldn't hate your father and all that. But when you really say it to them and you really mean it, you try to see it from the kid's point of view, you start to heal inside, you start to forgive the person, you let go of that anger, you let go of that hatred, yes. And you start to heal inside, and it makes you stronger as a person.
You've used this strength of yours now and you're helping other women. Why do you want to do that?
Well, there's still a very real social stigma. You can't just go around saying, like, oh, my husband hit me. It's a loss of face in a way. It's still a very real stigma for the victim. Sometimes more so for the victim than the perpetrator, because society somehow still thinks that, oh, you must have done something to get that kind of treatment. So I wanted to go out and share this and also create public awareness about this issue, in the hope that, this women know that they are not in it alone, that there is definitely hope for them. They have to stand up for themselves because no one will do it for them. They need to find that inner strength to be able to stand up for themselves.
Now you reach out to these women through a form of theatre as well. Does that help you in any way, or does that kind of bring out the pain every time you have to be in that role?
Let me see what message
Doing
is.
this again.
I'm your husband. I can do anything I want. There's nothing to hide, right?
To be very frank, it does. It does bring me back to that dark place, the very bad memories. But on the other hand, I always tell myself, you are doing this, there is a purpose to it. And by focusing on that reason, it gives me a lot of strength and it brings me out of that kind of darkness.
So what advice do you have for women who first are in a relationship like that and know about it, and second, who are in a relationship like that, they feel something's wrong but they don't know how to identify it? What would you say to these women?
The question that I always ask this woman is, what do you actually want in life? Do you know who you are? Do you know what you want? Because if you don't know what you want, you will always be there, you will always be stuck there. You will always be in that place where you don't realize your goals in life and you will never be really happy. Yeah.
I also believe that we need to bring the good men into this conversation.
Yes.
Right? And what would you tell them then?
I think what we actually need from the good men out there, is to stop keeping your beliefs to yourself, to actually actively speak up about it, to call incidences as you see it. It's not enough just knowing that, okay, I don't believe in violence against women and I stand against it, but you don't say anything about it, you just believe that. I think that's not enough. You need to actually speak out against it. You need to stand up for what you believe, because they actually need to realize that, it might not be something that is very vague and, it happens to other women. It could happen to your mother, it could happen to your sister, your daughter, it could happen to any female in your life.
Now, I know when a lot of people are approached and told, like, I'm being abused, I think the first reaction is, this is not my problem. It is not my business. I shouldn't get involved.
Yes.
What would you say to, to everybody out there?
Firstly, I think we need to adjust the mindset that, domestic violence is like a family matter, I shouldn't get involved. It's their family matter. I shouldn't meddle, Because once it escalated to the height of domestic violence, and obviously the person is reaching out to you for help, she's telling you, it's no longer a family matter in a way, but it's a community matter. We should all step in to help before it escalates to, death, which is very, very real.
And for example, for people out there who are abusing their wives, or in their case, abusing their husbands, what is it that you want to say to them?
Do remember that you married this person because you love him or her in the first place. What you are doing is actually hurting him or her. You may think that you are controlling him or her, to help him or her, but it's not. It's hurting him, it's hurting her, and it's hurting the relationship. And in the long run, it hurts you too. It hurts you as a person. It hurts you. The very thing that you stand for, the very core of your person, it just hurts you.
Oh, Rachel, the work that you do is amazing, and I have to ask you this. What is empowerment to you?
Empowerment to me is when I reclaim my power as a woman and a human being and sharing that power with other women. And it also means self-empowerment, picking myself up during days when I'm very, very down.
Well, Rachel, thank you so much, because I know that it's not easy for you to share this story again and again, and I'm very grateful for that. And I just want to thank you for your resilience.
Thank you, Eunice, for covering this.
No, thank you. Thanks so much. Really, thank you.
Love, forgiveness, and acceptance through the darkest of days. May Rachel's journey of healing continue to inspire.